Good morning, fellow isolationists. How'd the weekend go? Yeah, there was a weekend, believe it or not, and hopefully you guys made the most of it. I guess. I don't know. Some of you likely aren't working, so maybe it's just another day. But for me, it was typical weekend. One that I typically would cherish if we weren't in isolation here, social distancing. Because how often do I actually get time to relax and not have all sorts of plans and things I got to do? So it's nice in that way, but I'm sure for people that are going a little stir crazy, it's just another day, and getting out of bed is harder and harder. But yeah, hopefully you can find something to motivate you. You can only watch so many movies, but I mean, this weekend I did a bunch of cooking. As you would have seen, I let everyone know that I finally made bread. Big deal for me. I mean, not really, but it was fun to do. Pretty easy. Results were good. I'm gonna make some tweaks. I'm gonna do a bunch of different stuff, and I will have a video on how I did it. Just give me some time because I just wasn't motivated to do things like that on the weekend, and I got into trying some different video editing software, and I'm a little rusty, to be perfectly honest, and I bounced from one program to the next, and just didn't like one feature over the other. Or one was too complex, and the other one was too basic. And maybe at this point I'll just go back to Premiere Pro. But if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Maybe some resources. I gotta just stop being a stubborn idiot and actually go through some sort of tutorial or something like that. But what are you gonna do, right? Had a great time playing with my kid this weekend. She was happy to have me around, although she's a total mama's girl right now. Sort of imprinting her on her every day, and to be expected. That's how it is with kids. Whoever's spending the most time with them, they're gonna kind of be clingier to that person. So, but yeah, it was fun. We got out and had a lot of time in the backyard. We went on a walk at one point, and watched movies, things like that. Nothing too crazy. But I spent a lot of time talking with family this weekend. It's kind of weird, throughout your regular life, obviously talk to your family. At least most people do. Um, but not to the extent that we are now. So it's interesting how that's kind of a silver lining in a way. I mean, a lot of people are just busy all the time, and you don't really get the chance to have some good conversations with them, or just see how things are going and catch up on a regular basis. So it's nice to see that. Obviously, the circumstances are not what you would typically like, but it is what it is right now. But definitely, communication in general is changing right now. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, um, you know, it's sometimes it takes a dramatic event for things to change, and that's what we're seeing right now. And it's uh, it's nice. I like it in a way. I mean, as much as one can like self isolation and and being a bit of a hermit. I mean, I'm kind of a weird guy in the sense that I'm sort of I would classify myself as introverted extrovert. I guess I'm you know sometimes reluctant to go out and do stuff, but when I'm there, I'm extroverted. So yeah, it's interesting, but not everyone's that way. I did see some interesting. Um, let's see. I mean, I did see some interesting social partying going on over the weekend. People chugging beers, and no one invited old John to chug beers. I like to chug beers. So hey, just a knock on your door there to add me in next time. But seeing things like that, maybe people will get more inventive. Maybe this weekend everyone should do an online costume party or something. I don't know. Or wear a funny hat, perhaps. We'll see where this goes. But yeah, one thing that's driving me a little crazy is I'm sure some of you have gotten invites for this sort of thing. They got Kids Messenger now. Um, Sounds like a great idea, and we sort of jumped the gun and started adding everyone. It's a great idea, My daughter will be able to reach out to her cousins whenever she wants and all that. But the problem is that kids don't understand boundaries or anything like that. And I'm the gatekeeper. I'm getting notifications about every sticker that's sent and every attempt to do a video chat at like 7 a.m. And it's cute, but it's a little crazy. It reminds me of the times where growing up where you only had the one phone for the house and someone's calling and oh it's for John or it's for your siblings or whatever. I don't didn't really envision myself going back to a state where I'd have to be like a gatekeeper to give my phone to my daughter. I don't know, whatever. It's funny right now. I'm sure everyone will get annoyed with it after a while, but it is nice to give her the ability to reach out to her cousins and friends and things like that. So it is what it is. But I mean, I'm definitely noticing just with the kids in general, going back to how much time you have to spend with your kids and you know it is very nice to see the changes that I don't, as a parent, always have time to notice. You have a full week of going to school, going to work. You get home and you typically relax and then have dinner and then do the bedtime routine and all that. There's very little time to actually look at their development and see what they're up to. So, I mean, my daughter specifically, I mean, just demonstrating, um, you know, uh, both mental and physical changes right now. I mean, things I wasn't aware of. It could be something super simple. Like I've noticed she's really good at riding a tricycle now. Last year she couldn't. She just didn't have the muscles, muscular capabilities to use it properly, and just a little too small. So you don't think about it, but then all year long she's at her Montessori school using bikes and things like that there. So obviously she picked that up and is flourishing and mentally she's very inquisitive right now. We went on a bit of a car ride yesterday and we got the question, where do babies come from? To answer that, I mean, what I'm finding is I'm just going to say, they come from mommy and daddy, but we'll expand on that when you're a little older. And now, actually, she's asking me about all sorts of things, and I don't always have an answer for it. It's like, what does this mean? And I'm just giving her an answer that has more words involved in it that she's going to just ask what those words mean. So it's kind of a never ending loop right now, but it also makes you somewhat cognitive the fact that you don't really know what you're talking about and you just take it for granted and say words and you know what the meaning is for the most part, but you couldn't explain it to someone else. So it is challenging. It's kind of funny at the same time, but uh, yeah, I mean, it's nice to see the change either way, and every step of the way is a different challenge, and it's great. I love it. One thing would definitely be a challenge right now is congratulations right off the bat. A couple of my friends have announced that they're pregnant over the weekend. So happy for you all, and what a time to be pregnant. My goodness. I mean, obviously, I'll never get to experience that, only sort of through the eyes of my wife. But uh, man, to be isolated while you can't drink, you might be going through crazy mood swings. If I don't even think you'd be necessarily at that point yet early on in the first trimester, but if you're having cravings, good luck finding them. And God help it, the husbands as well. I'm sure that's not easy, and if you're in a condo as well, that's got to be tough. But yeah, we'll get through it all. We'll look back at it. It'll be kind of funny. I mean, I suppose if you had a lot of morning sickness, things like that, it'd be pretty beneficial to be home, not have to worry about balancing life as it is, and pretending you're okay and running to the bathroom constantly. So, I mean, I'm sure it's a whirlwind of emotions and just new territory overall. But I'm rooting for you. You know. Uh, um, Over the weekend, actually, I kept up with my fitness regimen. As I mentioned, I've been doing push-ups every day. So doing 100 push-ups every day for 10 days, taking a 3-day break, and then getting back on it, increasing my numbers and that sort. So last week, I mean, after the first 2 days, I thought, like, there's no way I'm doing this. Like, I am dying. I'm so sore. I haven't used muscles like this in years, which is sad because, I mean, it's not that many push-ups. But after around on the fourth day, I'd say, I don't know, the soreness went away. I kept up my routine, and so far I'm 5 days in. Day six today. We're gonna keep at it, and I've noticed that this C10 do 10 challenge going around on social media. Uh, I'd like to think I started that all, but no one's gonna give me credit, and whatever. I'm only doing 100. You're doing 10. I mean, who's better at the end of the day, right? Who's to say? Um, yeah, I mean, of course, over the weekend as well. I mean, I really tried to take a backseat to politics and all the stuff going on in the world, which seems kind of crazy. But you're gonna get paranoid if you aren't already paranoid. There's great concern out there, obviously, and we shouldn't be blind to it. But I felt I just needed to take some time off. So now, it's Monday. I was gonna start getting all heated about it again, and you know, I have noticed that. I've noticed through various reports, it looks like there are six states in the U.S. right now on lockdown. That's probably for the best. I guess people aren't willing to wait for Washington to say, all right, this is a national lockdown, which I just don't even know if I could see that happening. I think maybe governors have a better rapport with the people than the White House would, because it becomes just so much more political in that stance. So hard to say. I'm not an expert, so I'm just a guy saying things, and you're listening. So great. If you don't like what I have to say, then so be it. It is what it is. But Canadian provinces, nothing like that yet. Not to scare people or anything of that nature, but I would expect larger. Well, not geographically larger, but higher population provinces doing lockdowns as well. I wouldn't be at all surprised by the end of the week if Ontario went for the lockdown first, followed by British Columbia and so on. But I can. It's such a shitty time for people to be political about this, but I fully expect someone like a Doug Ford character to be to pretend that the federal administration's not being serious enough about this, and not protecting the people, and that as the premier of Ontario, he's making this step to protect the people for the people and all this garbage, and then they're going to go on lockdown and be this big political thing. But I think it was going to happen anyways. If you don't have provisions, things like that, to get through a week or two, you should probably do that. I don't think I should be the one telling you that at this point, but if you haven't by now, then get on that. And over the weekend, I mean, I'm still seeing people not practicing social distancing. My where my house is there's a lot of foot traffic, so I see it. It's not as bad, obviously, as a everyday situation, but I mean, the reason we got to have these lockdowns is because a lot of people aren't listening. You need to listen. Stop having friends over. Stop going places you unneededly, if that's even a word. If you don't need to do something, don't. All right. If it's not vital to your livelihood, just stay home and write that book you always wanted to do. Or I don't know, do some painting, find a project. Just do something. Don't go outside, okay? Because the more you go outside, the longer we all have to stay inside, because people are idiots and don't want to follow the rules, and that's that. Let's just do it and get it out of the way, and we'll all be better for it. And that's my rant for today. So happy Monday, and remember, just stay the fuck inside, okay?